Animals, whether wild or domestic, are blessed with a rare intelligence that so few humans get to experience. However, when in trouble, animals might just turn to the humans they would otherwise shun. Then again, I guess someone is better than no one. In this video, we're going to show you how intelligent animals can be when in need of a little assistance. From a crow unscrewing a water bottle to a little mama duck asking for help. Here are 12 animals who asked people for help. For humans, finding some refreshing water on a hot summer's day is no big deal. But for birds and animals, well, they're not so lucky. A crow especially would have to use every bit of their intelligence to find water, resorting to places like sewers or puddles for instance. But it turns out that some crows like to think outside the box. Check out this smart little guy as he keeps hovering around this group of people relaxing on the sidewalk. We have no idea if this crow has some kind of studies in human psychology, but he seems to know these people pretty well. When the humans don't seem to grasp what exactly that bird is asking for, the little guy decides to take matters into his own talons, trying to open the bottle of water itself. Eventually, the humans get the right idea and give the bird water from the bottle cap. See? Told you, the bird's a genius at psychology. Cats are clever creatures. And when they're in trouble, they know to attract as much attention as they can for help. Take a look at this male kitten who sadly got stuck 40 feet down a pipe. For 4 days, this kitten survived on the goodwill of the humans who heard his cries and brought him food and water. Those same people tried lowering the branches into the pipe, hoping he would get the idea and climb out. But the little guy must have been too scared or injured and just stayed put. Concerned locals quickly contacted a rescue team, who came to the rescue, or tried. The rescue team tried to get the kitten out by creating a snare, and although at first the kitten appears to be moving forwards, he wasn't close enough to be pulled to safety. The rescue team tries again, and thankfully Whiskers is finally rescued and taken to a foster home. What a happy ending. Usually when you hear about an elaborate breakout, it's a group of dangerous people trying to escape from a prison. But nah, we're talking about 3 horses who decided to escape their Rhode Island farm and explore the countryside. 2 were quickly located, but the 3rd was nowhere to be found, except if you knew where to look, which in this case was a swamp. Apparently, this horse thought there was more to the world than just horsing around on a farm. But it didn't bargain for the rough terrain of the countryside and soon found himself in Shrek's territory. It took a team of firemen, a farmer with a bucket excavator, and 2 lengths of hose wrapped around the horse's body to finally pull her out. I don't imagine Shrek would have to tell him the old "stay out of my swamp" line. Like most Arctic animals, penguins just love swimming in the waters of Antarctica. Sadly, so do killer whales. And wouldn't you know it, killer whales really like feasting on penguins. You can see the problem we have here, yeah? Thankfully, this particular penguin decided that he wasn't just gonna lay back and be murdered. When this little guy was chased by a group of killer orcas in the Gerlache Straits, he outwitted them by doing something incredible. After spotting a group of tourists on a dinghy tour in the area, the penguin immediately circled the dinghies and attempted to leap on board, knowing it would be safe from the killer orcas. The video was shot by Matthew and Anna Karsten, 2 of the tourists who happened to witness the little penguin finally making it safely into one of the dinghies. Hard to think of a closer call, right? Glenda McGuire was thrilled to see a flock of migratory ducks from South Africa on a lake near her home, but was shocked to see that one bird was showing signs of distress. When she took a closer look at that poor thing, she soon realized that it had its beak covered with some kind of plastic ring. Glenda found it such a heartbreaking sight that she and her husband fashioned a harmless trap to catch the duck so they could free it from its plastic prison. Sadly, they weren't successful at first, and it was unfortunate knowing that the bird had not been able to eat or drink. But just when the McGuires felt the bird had given up all hope, it surprised them by crawling into the cage. The McGuires were ecstatic, finally able to free the bird from this life-threatening piece of plastic. Miraculously, the bird didn't show any signs of injury, and after a while was released back into the wild. And that's how Donald Duck got his life saved during his South African vacation. Now, Turtles may be able to outdo humans in swimming and negotiating water any day, but their short, stumped limbs can be a huge obstacle sometimes. Take a look at this turtle, for instance. The poor creature had something on its back and just could not get it off. In an incredibly rare moment not commonly experienced by humans, the turtle swims up to a snorkeler, Guy Lloyd, for help. And, thankfully, Guy managed to catch the entire thing on camera. The unwanted object turned out to be a type of shell stuck to the turtle's back, leading Guy to interpret the unusual behavior as the turtle begging for help getting it off. And like a good Samaritan, Guy obliges the turtle and removes the shell off its back. Soon after, the turtle hovers around him for a few seconds, as if to say, "Thanks, mate," and swim off. And they say Finding Nemo isn't based on a true story? In 2019, Australia was ravaged by one of the worst forest fires in history. It was heartbreaking and gut-wrenching to see that blaze devour forests and take the lives of several animals as well. The scenes of the little koalas being affected were unbearable. But on the other hand, some heartwarming videos of a man and animal coming together in such moments of terror gave reassurance and hope that Australia could and would bounce back, and so would its unique wildlife. Scenes just like what you're seeing here quickly became viral online. This koala must have been really thirsty after its water sources all dried up, that it stops a cyclist on the road asking for a drink. The cyclist obliges, and oh boy, the koala gulps that down. I think we're all grateful that that little dude was able to get back to being chill, even in the intense Australian heat. There's always a guardian angel somewhere for our furry friends, and Darcy Pell is definitely one of them. Darcy Pell, a 31-year-old security engineer, was jogging in a Yorkshire park one cold winter's day when he spotted a black dog running around the ice. Darcy feared that the little dog was on dangerous ground and could fall through, a fear that soon unfortunately came true. But luckily for the pooch, the quick-thinking Darcy dashed to the dog's rescue, jumping into the frozen lake, fully clothed. Now that was a true act of courage. As soon as the video was shared online, it quickly exploded into a viral sensation that turned Darcy into an online hero. And you know what? He deserves it. While we're talking about rescuing dogs, let's get to this video of a poor dog in Chile who found herself tangled up in a sheet outside her home. The dog's unfortunate condition was noticed by neighbors after she had been crying out loud and whimpering all night. Obviously concerned about the dog's well-being, they quickly alerted the local Chilean police, who sent Officer Giovanni Dumk to check out the situation. The officer found that the owners were not at home and noticed that the dog would soon begin choking if he didn't do something. Giovanni asked a neighbor for a knife and began to cut away at the sheet. And while the dog was wary of Giovanni and frightened at first, the officer persisted until he eventually succeeded in setting her free. Of course, the dog instantly realizes that the officer is there to help and immediately calms down. She even gives him a hug and a kiss as her way of saying thank you. That's adorable. Now this is an amazing video if there ever was one. This man was out enjoying a peaceful walk when a mama duck hurriedly approached, quacking wildly. And no, it was definitely not to wish him a good day. Clearly something wasn't right, and it seemed to him that she was imploring for his help. Although I imagine he also thought he was going kinda crazy, which is understandable. The man followed the duck and soon found that her babies had fallen into a sewage drain, every mama duck's worst nightmare. Desperate to help however he could, the guy quickly called in the Phoenix Fire Department, who managed to pull out all of the ducklings one by one. They were all soon reunited with Mama, who then led them away. Sure, a leopard with his head stuck in a pot might seem like a very weird sight, but for the animal? Well, it's still weird, but also kinda traumatic. How exactly this situation came to be is something of a mystery, but what's more important is to remember that the animal is totally helpless and in desperate need of human assistance. The incident happened in India and was recorded by locals who suspect that the leopard may have been looking for water, but got his head stuck inside the metal vessel. Eventually, wildlife officers had to tranquilize the animal, sending the leopard to sleep and working the pot off its head entirely. I totally understand the leopard situation. It actually happened to a friend of mine. Like bears, snakes have developed something of an unfortunate and stereotypical reputation among humans. Because people are so afraid of what the snake could do, they'd rather stay pretty far away than risk danger. At number 1 today is an incredible compilation showing snakes being helped by humans. The first is a video of Tim Jones, a retired Texas zoo director who makes friends with a female diamondback who even crawls on his lap for food. That is brave. Whoa. In another incident, a snake gets rescued after it got stuck in a toilet bowl. Which, let's be honest, we've all been there. And finally, the third incident is nothing short of amazing and shows a huge cobra calmly sipping water from a man's bottle during a drought in Karnataka, India. While I may not be inclined to allow any snake within a 10-foot distance, this video proves that all species on Earth could live in harmony. If we allowed them within a 10-foot distance. Yeah, I see the problem. So, I think we've proved, ultimately, that animals are more than willing and capable of asking humans for assistance if they so need it. Whether the humans will actually step up and help, however, is more complicated. But if you look cute, you're probably gonna get some help. Sorry to all those snakes out there. So, which of these videos did you find the most heartwarming? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to see more of our videos. See you next time.